as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome to Wager Talk Today, everybody. Teddy covers with me. I'm Lawrence Presman, and a great show. We got Steve Merril, the man who sat in my chair for a week up first. We're talking the 1 p.m. Eastern college basketball game. That shelf life will be quick. Then the Thunder and the Nuggets, the Pelicans and the Jazz, and Teddy, one of my favorite guys on the planet, Carmine Bianco, coming up at the bottom of the hour. He's going to talk a couple of NHL games, Buffalo versus Philadelphia and Carolina versus Nashville. Shout out to Brian Leonard. Came on yesterday, first time. Nails both his picks. One of them was a plus 140 dog on Buffalo. Teddy, you got your big game breakdown. What's it going to be and how are you this morning?
We're going to talk Duke and Pitt, ESPN tonight, the late game. We'll break that down. And this morning, I'm doing just fine, Prez. How about yourself?
Dude, I hit a PB on the Peloton yesterday, and I think it hit me back. My right knee ain't like it used to be, so I didn't ride today. What can you do? I'm going for a walk, otherwise known as an old man's workout. Lead story, brother. NFL futures, they're up. Let's go through them real quick. Kansas City opened the year 7-1. Now they're at 2-1. Packers 9-4. The Buffalo Bills, Teddy, they opened the season at 40-1. Now they're 7-2, and the Tampa Bay Bucks are 4-1. So much depending on Mahomes. I'd really like to get your take on this.
Sure. So, the opening odds that you were talking about, the Chiefs at 7-1, the Packers at 20-1, the Bills at 40-1, the Bucks at 60-1. Those are all the openers from last January, before the Super Bowl was played, before the Bucks signed Brady, before the Bills got Steph Diggs, et cetera, et cetera. So not many people have Tampa 60-1, Buffalo 40-1, Green Bay 20-1. At the current numbers, with KC plus 200, Green Bay plus 225, Buffalo plus 350, Tampa plus 400, basically the markets are telling us everybody's live. And I don't disagree with that. So when everybody's live, what do you look for? You look for long shots. You don't have any long shots in this group. Tampa's 4-1. And if the Bucks beat Green Bay, all right, they're going to be dogs to KC, probably pick them to Buffalo. Some of the look-ahead odds that I saw, or potential odds that I saw, which means that at the 4-1, if you just put the Bucks on the money line this week and put them on the money line, should they win this week again, you'll get a better return on investment than the odds makers are giving you, even for the lowest rated team on the board. So the bottom line for me, I wouldn't make a bet on any of these. Chiefs, Packers, Bills, Bucks, not a soul.
No, and I'm with you, Teddy, because even if you look at the favorite Kansas City Chiefs, you do the same thing. You play them on the money line, you roll it twice, you make more money. It really begs the question, because we speak about this all the time. Why? Why are the odds constantly worse than if you rode a team on the money line in every team, in every sport, all the time?
Oh, it's a very simple question. The answer is because it's easier to bet that way. All right. When you're a tourist, you're coming to Vegas and you want to put a ticket on whoever. You don't want the Bucks to win every game. You're not going to come back next week to roll it over. You want Tampa to win the Super Bowl. All right. When you walk into any sports book, and it doesn't matter, Vegas, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Louisiana, it doesn't matter. Okay. Every sports book has the future book odds prominently displayed. The sheets are right there. They're on the board. Why? The house takeout's bigger. They make a lot of money off of these bets. And the casual fan likes to bet them. They want that Chiefs ticket in their pocket or the Packers ticket in their pocket. They want to be able to show their friends or post it on Facebook or do whatever. And the books can take advantage of that by not offering true odds on the future book market.
It's funny. We should ask Art this tomorrow. I bet you so many of these tickets are bought as birthday presents. Carmine went down to Vegas a couple of years ago, came back, and at my birthday, he gave me $100 Leaf Stanley Cup ticket, 13-1. I used it as toilet paper. But hey, we all need toilet paper. Speaking of shit, let's bring Steve Merril in. That was a bad segue, Steve.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's
when I
that's a little bit rough.
I didn't segue that way. I never segue that way.
Yeah, well, listen, that's why you're on the bench and I'm in the batting cage, the batter's box. Steve, thanks for hosting, man. I didn't tell you publicly because the first time you're on, but I did watch a bunch of the shows that you did, and outstanding job. I have put in a request for you to take over for Teddy. That request was denied by Teddy himself. But anyway, a shout out to you, dude. Thanks so much. And before we get into it, do you want to explain exactly what deal with the devil you made to achieve this incredible college basketball start?
Yeah, I mean, 25-7, obviously been pretty selective. That's about a game a day or a little less, but it's been working. And there's a lot of good spots in college hoops, and you kind of pick your spots. I've always said the one edge we have as bettors is that odds makers have to put lines on every game on the board, but we don't have to play everyone, and we can find those, one or two opportunities each night. And so far, those opportunities have been popping up for us. And looking at some games for tonight, should have another college basketball best bet up on WagerTalk.com here within the next hour or so.
Steve Merril, everybody. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. His college basketball start has been utterly insane. I've started the NHL 10-2, Steve. Nice. I'll call you when I hit 25-7. Please let me hit 25-7. NC Wilmington, Towson, minus 1 p.m. start. That's in 50 minutes. Let's get right into this game right away.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to use a 1 o'clock Eastern game, Prez. I actually was aware that
you chose it.
I did chose it because I did the 2 NBA games and the 1 daytime game. So we can literally say we covered every daytime college basketball and every NBA game here on the show today. So I've got that going for you. But I like, as you guys know, I like to do a theme on these Tuesday games. I used to do it with football because we had a lot of days in advance, kind of a look ahead. The theme tonight's going to be kind of what I look at in over bets for these games. And this one's a real interesting one to talk about because these teams played yesterday. And this is one of those situations we have very unique here in 2021 that we've never had for years before in college basketball. And I love digging through the box scores when we have these quick turnaround revenge situations. Ideally, I like playing the road team when they lost the first game. We do get that here with Wilmington, the better team as a road favorite. But what's going to keep me off the side in this game is the other thing I like to look at in these quick turnarounds, and that's the three-point shooting. And it gets me towards the over in this game this afternoon. Let's look at what happened yesterday. Towson went in they opened as about a 1.5 point dog and closed around 2.5. They won the game straight up 72-69. They outshot Wilmington 60% from 2-point range to about 35, 36% from 2-point range. Yet they only won by 3. The reason is because Wilmington hit 6 out of 19 from 3. Towson, though, was 1 for 14 from 3-point range, and they still won the game straight up as a dog. You can't shoot much worse than that and still win. So I'm not going to play the quick turnaround revenge with Wilmington, but I do like the over here. Total yesterday was 143.5. The game totaled 141. Yes, it stayed under, but as I just mentioned, 1 for 14 from 3-point range. Wilmington wasn't much better. They were 32%, 6 for 19. And now the total once again is 143.5. I think we get more points here. I also want to point out that Wilmington had not played for nearly 3 weeks. It was only Towson's second game in nearly 3 weeks. I think both teams continue to shoot better as they play more. And I don't think all of a sudden you make adjustments offensively or defensively to stop Towson from scoring down low. So this is a game that went under by 2 points yesterday. Same total today. I like the over. I know it's an early tip-off, but a little reward for everybody that's watching this live here on Tuesday afternoon. And also, hopefully, some handicapping 101 lessons for everyone watching this later that they can apply to many of these conference games over the next 2 months.
So I wanted to ask you real quick, Steve, because certainly last night's game was not a good 3-point shooting game for either team, particularly for Towson. But both teams got to the free throw line and combined to score 40 points with the shot clock off, 40 of 50 from the charity stripe. Are you worried about the 3-point shooting rebounding and then going to get shooting better from beyond the arc today, but not getting the subsequent free throw attempts and that potentially keeping the game under?
Yeah, it's a great question, Teddy. That is the other thing I look at, but I look at more at the percentage. When teams shoot lights out from three or lights out from the free throw line, you figure, well, maybe that was an abnormality. But 82% for Wilmington, 77% from Towson. That's a couple free throws more than they normally would make. But the fact that the two teams, as you said, combined for 50 attempts, I don't think that necessarily changes. That means they're getting fouled. As I said, Towson shot 60% from 2-point range. They had an edge down low. I'm not sure that changes with no rest, no preparation time, a quick turnaround. And this, once again, is a 1 o'clock Eastern early tip-off. So the adjustments are going to basically be zero for either team. And I think both get to the charity stripe a lot again.
Steve Merrill, everybody. Let's get straight into some NBA. Denver -10, a few 9.5s on the board, a big total, not big anymore, but 220.5. They're playing Oak City, both running teams. Steve Merrill, where are we going in this game?
Yeah, Prez, last Tuesday I was the $2 capper, and I had a college play, and about 3 hours after we posted, it gets postponed. It was Tennessee Vanderbilt. I actually ended up using it this past Saturday, and it won easily. So let's hope you get your hockey game in tonight. It's that $2 curse that we sometimes see. But I bring that up because here in the NBA, we're getting a lot of cancellations. I had the over for the Thunder Sixers on Sunday night. That gets swiped a few hours before game time. Yesterday, I have 3 NBA plays. One of them is the Heat Pistons game. An hour and a half before tip-off, they move it from 3 to 8 o'clock Eastern, and it lands right in the middle. I put it out at 5.5. It goes 6, 6.5, lands on 6. So that's just kind of how things have been going for me, especially in the NBA the last few days. And this is the Thunder team that I mentioned that I had an overplay on Sunday, and that game, of course, was canceled. But they're well rested here. I'm looking to play the over again here with the Thunder in this game. I got no problem playing the Nuggets over as well here. Denver can put up some points. I mean, I remember when Teddy and I were doing the NBA tip-off show last summer during the restart in the bubble, Denver is just an automatic overplay for like the first 2-3 weeks of that season into the playoffs. And so far this year, they're 9-4 to the over. It's been working again. Their games average almost 228 points a game. So I've got no problem playing over, 220, 220.5 with the Nuggets. And then you look at the Thunder. They just had a 252 game against the Bulls. They've been 100 or more basically in 5 of their last 6. And they've gone over in 3 of their last 4. So, I mean, it's kind of a simple analysis here, but these are 2 over teams for me right now. And I think we get some value. The line did open last night a little bit earlier, around 219.5. It's now 220, 220.5. I think it'll probably continue to go higher, but I like the over between the Thunder and Nuggets tonight at 9 Eastern.
Do you have any take on the side for this one, Steve, or is this a pure over selection, OKC Denver?
Yeah, the next game, Teddy, I kind of got to take on both sides in total. This one, not as much on the side, just because it's a double-digit line now. It's up to 10 with Denver. They are coming off a loss. They are a quality Class A-ish type team, and I usually look to play those type of teams off a loss. But keep in mind, the altitude won't be as much of an edge here because OKC did get that day off on Sunday. They've got 3 days off now. So I think Denver wins the game, but wins by more than 10 is another question.
Steve Merrill, Teddy Covers, Lawrence Presman. You're watching WagerTalk Today. Guys, hit that like button, please. Super important. Steve cut his hair for the show, and that in and of itself is worth a like. Steve, let's get to the Pelicans and the Jazz. I got a free pick on this play. I'm on the under. Has dropped slightly to 217.5. Utah at -6. I'd love to hear your take. Especially on the total, because I'm betting the under.
Yeah, I don't always do things smart, Prez. I cut my hair like 2 days after I hosted the show all week, which made absolutely no sense because I was wetting it down and putting everything on it to keep it down all week. But I wanted that backup plan. I think on Friday I was going to come out and say this show's driven me crazy, Teddy, and just had a big afro, but of course I did not do it. I actually, Prez, I'd be a little worried at the over here just because I really feel like the Pelicans have changed the way they play. When the season started, New Orleans went under in their first 5 games of the season. They've now gone over 6 of their last 7. And I don't know if the market is fully caught up yet now. You look at the totals in those recent overs, 216, 218, 219, 226.5 in the last game, which had 251 points. and now it's in that 217.5 range. So I still think there's a little bit of value with the over for the Pelicans, who are playing at a different style right now. So the question becomes, can the Jazz get it there? Now, that would be a concern. Utah's been a nice under team recently, 4 straight, just playing fantastic defense. They've held all 4 opponents to 41% shooting or less. But offensively, they're really good right now. They've put up 116 or more in 4 of their last 6 games, I think. And I think they get there, but I would also lean towards the Jazz here minus the 6.5. So, Prez and I are a little bit different on the total here, but I do like the Jazz minus the 6.5 at home with that altitude edge. New Orleans is a team that I think is going to be at a disadvantage tonight.
Quick follow-up, and it's a yes or no question. Stan Van Gundy, yes or no?
I'd say no long term. Over the next week or two, yes, but long term, no, and not for me. Van Gundy is not a long term yes for me, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Steve Merrill, everybody. Steve, as we spoke about, 25-7 in college basketball, really just killing it. Do you have anything to promote for our customers? Any promo package, coupon code, etc.?
Yeah, Prez, the last 2 weeks on that NFL public video I've been doing on WagerTalk TV, I've been doing a special promo code each of the last 2 weeks. I'll do it again this weekend for the championship game. So be sure to check WagerTalk TV. We usually get that up on Friday night, Saturday morning. My NFL public video, 3-1 last week, 7-1 the week before, 10-2 in the playoffs, 16-4 in the regular season, fading the public.
Wow.
So that's 26-6 now. It's been scary good, to say the least. And I will have a special promo code on the NFL public video this weekend on WagerTalk TV.
I give you one of these, bro. I mean, you come
on
here with
basketball was good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and you know what? That video, I mean, it's getting 8,000 views, and its shelf life is like really small. So,
yeah.
Congratulations, man. What an addition you've been to the team. I can't thank you enough for joining us, Steve Merrill, everybody. And also, Steve, if you could kindly teach all our guests how to be succinct, short, tight, focused, and incredibly informative, it would be really good, because that was a 12-minute segment, and it was from the gods. Get out of here. Right back with Teddy's Bees, promo codes, shout-outs, Carmine Bianco, and, of course, Ralph Michaels.
Have you ever checked out the expert handicappers at sportsmemo.com? If not, we have a deal that is impossible to pass up. Right now, you can get every pick from 12 different handicappers this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for only $99. This includes all sports, all 5% releases from 12 different handicappers for 3 full days. In the history of Wager Talk, Gold Sheet, and Sports Memo, we've never had a deal this good, and the odds are we never will again. All NBA, all college basketball, all NHL, NFL, and soccer, all sports, all 12 handicappers this weekend only at sportsmemo.com.
It's time for a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the sports betting world last night. And oh my goodness, there was someone, Mark Rickman, and I'm writing down the names who send me who send me the tweets now. I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. And his quote, does it even need to be said? Baylor, -8.5, -9. They kicked Kansas's butt all night, but they never pulled away. They got a 15-point lead. They're laying 8.5. They got a 15-point lead with just over a minute to play. They're not even going to be a foul situation. Easy cash. But then Baylor fouls. Kansas hits 2 free throws. Then a steal. Then a layup. And now it's 11. One last turnover. They dribble out. 1.9 left. Inbounds to Chris Tehan, a step or two inside half court. A contested 3 at the buzzer. Banks home. He didn't even call glass. Baylor wins by 8. That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. That was a bad beat. My condolences if you had Baylor minus the points last night. What about those money line parlays? The Lakers trying to close out those money line parlays. They led by 19 in the first. They led by 16 at the half. They led by 14 in the fourth. A late 11-0 Golden State run. It was Green and Curry. Looked like vintage Warriors. LeBron got called for traveling on multiple occasions. Kuzma's jacking up threes. The Warriors didn't score in the final minute. They still win by a deuce. Lakers money line. Whew, that wasn't real good. When it comes to bad bets, well, they were all over Louisville last night. -2 up to -4 against Florida State. Seminoles hot, Cardinals not. FSU wire to wire. They win by 13. The Phoenix Suns got bet up, -3.5 to -5.5 at Memphis. Devin Booker ice cold all night. The Grizz win that game straight up. All that Phoenix money was a bad bet. And for some reason, they were betting the Bulls Rockets under 226 down to 223. There's no defense in Bulls games or Rockets games right now. 125, 120 final flew over the total. All that under money was bad bet. Bad for the books. Whoo, the wise guys knew what was coming. St. John's +9.5 down to +6.5. They end up winning straight up against UConn by 4. Red Storm take the money and get the money. Wyoming, short turnaround revenge against Air Force. They lost the first meeting by 3. They won the rematch by 19. Nothing but Cowboys money, -1.5 up to -3.5. The Magic Knicks under teams. It was an early start game. It was a slow pace. There were no fouls. The total opened 211. It closed 205, and neither team got to 92. Magic Knicks under was bad for the books. And Merrill referenced the middle last night. I was on it too. I had Miami -5.5 in my pocket. I advised my clients to do the same. It was not a right side, but it got there. The line bounced between 5.5 and 6.5 all day, closed -6, landed right on 6. Bam Adebayo, a huge game, and then the 2 free throws that mattered at the end. Anytime it lands right in the middle, the books are either refunding wagers or paying people out. That's what happened in Miami, Detroit last night. Again, not a great result for the house. There you have it, Prez. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you.
Teddy, the craziest part is you do that segment 5 days a week. You don't miss one single bad beat or bad bet. The question is, do you sleep? Oh, my God. With all the college basketball games going on, I mean, how many banks of televisions do you actually have that you miss literally nothing?
I miss stuff all the time, and I appreciate when people send me stuff on Twitter, because that way if I missed it, I'll make sure I get it on the show. I certainly don't go through every college game or every NHL game where it's like, with I could use the Golden Knights last night, the puck line,
Yeah.
If you're going to talk NHL, all those puck line beats and the over beats and the 3-2s that become 4-2s, they're out there. But how much do I sleep? The answer is not enough.
Teddy covers everybody. Guys, thanks for joining us. Cornell, Dennis, Starchild, David Sharp, Paul Brophy, bunch of names I haven't seen before. Love it. Garrick Williams, Bill Flamank, you as well. Thanks for joining us. Reclaim, Brian, Chance, Trance. I really appreciate all you guys being here. Please take just 1.2 seconds to hit that like button. Greatly appreciated. We're closing in on 68,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell button in the top right. And also let your friends know about us. Teddy covers. It's $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. And well, guess who the $2 Tuesday is at WagerTalk, Teddy? You go first.
Ralph. I'm going to guess Ralph. Carmine?
Me.
Oh.
The Prez.
How did you get that?
Lawrence Pressman. How did I get it? Dude, I have started the NHL season 10 wins, 2 losses. I have a 5% play in hockey tonight. We're going to bring Carm on and quickly discuss the process of me coming up with that 5% play because he was deeply involved in it. It went on for about 3 hours. I have a 5% play in hockey, my first 5% of the season. You guys can get it for only $2. And Ron Kabang, I hope I pronounced his name correct. Ron Kabang, guys on a 15-2 NBA run. 15-2, that's like ridiculous. And you can get his $2 play over at Sports Memo. Carmine Bianco, welcome to Wager Talk today. And thank you for being there for me last night. We had 3 plays, then 4 plays, then 5 plays, then we got it down to 3 plays, then 2 plays, then 1 play. And then eventually I did not go with your opinion and went with my absolute original thought from day one, the very moment. So all of that work with you last night resulted in nothing, but it was fun. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, you blew up my phone, and I want to be as smart as Teddy is, who is probably smart enough to mute your calls and your text messages so he can actually enjoy 3 or 4 different screens. But yeah, good luck with your play tonight. And I want to throw this at Teddy really, really quickly. Teddy, I know the answer to this already. You've never placed a bet in your life that when you played it, you knew you had no shot of winning it, correct?
So, ever? I'm sure there must have been
Like, have you
some
ever
bet that
placed a
I've
bet?
made that I.
Have you ever gone to the window and put money down on a game, on a ticket that you knew had no chance of ever cashing, is what I'm saying. You would never do that, right?
There are
Yeah,
times
absolutely.
where I've made a bet and I'm convinced that the bet's no good after I make
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but
This is how
not
I
when I'm
felt.
actually
Okay.
making the bet. No.
I
Carm,
watched the show
everybody
earlier.
knows where you're going with this.
Yeah, this is how I felt when I
Everybody
placed
knows
that,
when you bought me my.
that
So
futures
basically, what
bet.
you're saying is you bought me a worthless birthday present.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I buy you a drink coaster because that's what that $200 on the Leafs to win the cup was. It was a drink coaster and nothing else.
Just for the
But
record,
I did get
everybody.
you, I did get you a $200 Starbucks gift card, which gets you like 2 or 3 coffees at most. So I was generous in that sense.
Carm is rolling today, Teddy. And for the record, it was a $100 coaster, not a $200 coaster. We don't want people
Would
to
it make
think
a
you're that
difference?
generous.
Would it really make a difference at this point? It could have been 1,000. It's the
Carmine,
same thing.
okay. Enough.
All right.
Buffalo versus Philly. Awesome spot last night for Buffalo, and they looked really good. And Carmine, I think this Buffalo team is going to be a tough out. They're loaded with offensive talent. The problem is their goalie and their D, but they played outstanding last night in both of those spots. Or did they? Philly just had no jump at all. Really could not get going. They play again tonight. Philly minus 150, total of 6. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, and just before I jump into some stats on this game, I think we were also supposed to discuss the other game with Nashville. That game has been canceled due to COVID issues with the Carolina Hurricanes. So Nashville, Carolina is not on tap for today, just so you guys know. With regards to this game, yeah, it was a flat spot for Philly. I was really hoping the Sabres would win last night so we could take Philadelphia today. The way in which they did it really surprised me. Obviously, winning 6-1, that got us over the total on that number. And the fact that they chased Carter Hart out of net. Brian Elliott was named last night. Before coming into that game, Elliott was already named as tonight's starter. So I'm not sure if that changes, but I would rather see Hart in there just because his home splits are fantastic. I talked about it on Puck Time yesterday. 33, 12, and 3 going into last night's game is at home for Hart, 2.24 goals against average and a very good 0.928 save percentage. The guy plays extremely well at home. They chased him yesterday, but that's more the Flyers' fault. They played absolutely flat off those 2 wins against the Penguins, and they were outshot 37-22 at home. You don't see that happening with the Flyers teams, and I expect them to bounce back tonight. And I'm seeing prices much lower than what you saw. I'm seeing minus 135 on the Flyers, and maybe it's because of the fact that Elliott is in net tonight. I would come back with the Flyers in this spot here. I just can't see them losing twice. A Sabres team that, while they added a lot of scoring during the offseason, you know what I mean? I just don't think this is a team that is ever going to compete for a playoff spot this year, not in that division at all. The other thing is it's Hutton in net again for the Sabres tonight. Let me put it this way. It's not going to be Linus Ullmark. He was named as a starter last night for the Sabres and then asked to be let go for personal reasons. So he's likely going to be away for a few days, I would think, at the very least. And they've recalled Jonas Johansson from their taxi squad. So it's going to be either Hutton or Johansson in net tonight for the Sabres. And either one of those is a step down from Allmark. So I think that that helps it for anyone who's looking at the total, which is sitting at 6, pretty much even money, 6-110 right now. So Flyers and the over in this game for me.
So, Carm, we've seen, I'm looking at the Wager Talk Live odds screen, it doesn't look like there's been a bet on Philadelphia. Every book, the money's coming for Buffalo as a dog. And in particular, the books that cater to the sharpest bettors seem to have the lowest prices on the favorite here. Does that concern you at all?
It doesn't, because we've seen it in this NHL season, and it's going to be an ever evolving season. We're just going to have to change the way in which we handicap this each and every week, because we're seeing some score lines like we saw with the Colorado the Colorado St. Louis line. Colorado loses that first game 4-1, and the line actually drops against Colorado in the next game, and they come out and absolutely annihilate St. Louis 8-0. 8-0. Sorry, I'm using a soccer phrase. We saw it in like the Vancouver Edmonton series, where Vancouver wins the first one 6-3, and then the number goes against Edmonton, and then Edmonton wins 6-3 the next time out. It's such a weird season, and we're just going to have to watch these numbers. They're going to get it wrong sometimes, but it's just a spot where I just think the Flyers are obviously the better team here. And I just can't see the Sabres beating them twice in Philly.
Carm, you came on to talk 2 games. Let's talk about one more real quick. And the reason I'm bringing this game up is, well, you and I were talking all night last night, and I got my card down to 2 games, and the game I did not release, but I am betting the under in the Detroit Red Wings game. And ultimately, the reason I did not bet this play was, although I really 5.5 of these 2 teams, I mean, Columbus, this Columbus team 3-2-1 in their goals. They've got 6 goals in 2 games, and Detroit's no better. But there's going to be a lot of bad blood from last game. I think there might be a lot of power plays tonight, and that's really what kept me off of this game. Where are you with this game?
Yeah, Andrew suffered, as Teddy does his bad beats. Andrew suffered a bad beat in this one. I think he had the puck line on this one, and Detroit got a goal in the last minute of the game to make it a 3-2 a final in that one. Again, it comes down to goalies for me, and right now there's it's Elvis for Columbus in this game, but for Detroit. Right now, it looks like the expected goalie is Bernier. If it was Greiss in net, I would lean to the under here. I definitely lean to the under on this game, just because he's a much better goalie. He comes from a system with the Islanders, with Torts, where he just played much better in that system. He brought it here. You watch it. They talked about it in some of the Detroit things where he tells his defense where he wants them. I've never seen a goalie telling his defense where he wants them, but they just play a much better game with him in net. This Detroit team is in a rebuilding stage, and it's going to continue. But they're going to get better. They're competing right now. So, and we're seeing it. They're competing right now. You know, in that game where they beat Carolina, they played extremely well. So, where we would go auto over last year on Detroit games, I don't think it's an auto over at all. With Detroit, you have to start looking at them. If you see 6s and 6.5s, I would tend to look at the unders, especially when they're playing a team that does not score a lot, like this Columbus team.
Carmine Bianco, everybody. I love that you're sharing offices with Marco. If anyone doesn't understand that joke, go back and watch the Monday video. Carmine was put on the spot with that Detroit game. No preparation at all, but that's you, brother. My lasagna coming soon? Just a yes. Okay, good. Carmine, what do you got to promote? And then we're kicking you off the show. We got tons more still.
Yeah, no, a ton of action up today. 4 soccer plays, first one going at 1:00. And there were so many NHL games or plays that I liked tonight. I had to cut them down. I still ended up with 4 plays. So it's a pretty busy day for me, having 8 plays in total.
Carmine Bianco, everybody, brother, thanks for joining us. We love having you. We're going to take a quick break, 30 seconds, and we're back with Teddy's Big Game Breakdown and, of course, the pen, Ralph Michaels.
The NHL is back, and so are the expert hockey handicappers at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Right now, you can lock in as many handicappers as you want through the Stanley Cup, giving you 25 weeks of hockey for $3.99 using coupon code PUCktime100 when purchasing an NHL season pass. Lock in your favorite handicapper through the Stanley Cup in July.
It's time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk college hoops on ESPN tonight. Duke and Pitt. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, I see Duke -4 at the vast majority of books. Total sitting in the 144 range. We've seen Duke money this morning. There's been some concern about the health of Jalen Johnson, the highest ranked player in Duke's top 3 recruiting class. He's missed 3 of the last 4 games, and he didn't play much, just 4 minutes in the game that he did suit up. And it looks like Johnson is going to go and be healthy tonight for Duke. He's certainly an impact player. But when we look at the trajectory of these two teams, all right, the Pitt Panthers fall into one of my favorite trajectories, I'll say. All right. Pitt on opening night lost straight up to St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Got a ton of pub. All you saw was Capel can't do it. The job's falling apart. Look what happened to Pitt. That big upset loss their opener. Their next game, they blew the cover versus a pretty bad Drexel team next time out. And the markets just crashed on Pitt thereafter. All they've done since then, win games and cover point spreads. All right. And if you don't think that Pitt has Duke circled tonight, they do. Meanwhile, Duke's 1-7 against the spread. They have a coach who has repeatedly and consistently said we shouldn't be playing this season. All right. They don't have a ton of tough wins on the highway. And if you Jeff Capel quote, they're a little bit younger. They're playing more young guys. They don't have a lot of experienced older guys. They have talent and they're good. They just maybe right now early haven't been as dominant like some previous Duke teams have been. When you're there, you understand there's a different type of pressure. At times, you're not allowed to go slow. You're judged very, very different nationally because of the history. All the pressure's on Duke. All the line values on Pitt. I like the Panthers plus the 4. And there's no rush to bet this. Again, leading indicator books say it may well go higher. But give me Pitt plus the points at Duke tonight. And, of course, that is a Friends of Ralph play. It's a real play for myself and my clients. I've got it in my pocket, and I've advised my clients to do the same. Back to you, Prez.
Back to me, Prez. Teddy, I missed the it's time. Guys, it's $2 Tuesdays. Make sure to take advantage of that $2. That's all. You get my play. I got a 5% play in hockey. And you get Kabang's play over at Sports Memo. NBA play, and he's on a 15-2 run. 1:45 Eastern today is our college hoops show. 2:45 Eastern today is our NBA show. Puck time's already in the bank. Check it out on our WagerTalk channel at YouTube, WagerTalk TV. Ralph Michaels! I'm so curious if you read my analysis on my 5% play and what you thought. You can tell me offline if you want.
I did not.
How are you? You did not? You did not? You called me on the phone last night. You're like, Prez, you're the $2 Tuesday. You're going to make a ton of sales. Write the best analysis you've ever written in your life. I spend 6 minutes writing it up and you don't read it?
I didn't say I won't. I said I haven't. Right now, my priority is college basketball. When I get done with that, when I get done with the college basketball play, you guys know I don't handicap NHL. I will at that point read it. I do want to mention as well, while you're going to WagerTalk to get Prez's $2 5% NHL play, I do have a 5% play in college basketball. A lot of the bad breaks I had early with these 1-point losses and losing an under in overtime, now on an 11-1-1 college basketball run, 14-3 all sports run, and plays rated 4% and higher. 4% plays and higher since August. 110, 69-1, 62%. 4 plays today, $39, 5% college basketball, and a 4%. Enough said. Angle of the day. Guys, I'm going to show you a split in the NBA with a chart in a minute. We've got a lot of teams overs, a lot of teams unders. I've been cashing on these unders. Jazz simply 1-8 over under as a favorite. The Pelicans 0-5 over under as a road dog. They face each other tonight, Jazz and Pelicans, under the total. A lot of people have reached out. They're so happy. We started up the NBA stat sheet again, the WagerTalk NBA stat sheet, and that looks at NBA games the last 2 weeks. Well, I wanted to go back since the New Year's. So I did a chart, ATS, over, under, and straight up records. These are since January 1st, and they are sorted by against the spreads. Teddy and Prez, I want to point out one thing, a little handicapping tip for our viewers, and then I'll throw it to you. I know you're looking at a lot of information real quickly, but take a look at the 2 purple numbers I have. Those are the middle columns are over-under records, the average cover, and the percent. The one thing I want you to take out of this chart, besides the Hawks are 0-9 in yellow, obviously take that away from the chart. But look at the Nets, 8-2, the average cover, 2.55 points per game. There's a lot of variance there. That means one basket doesn't go in. It could be an under. They may have gotten very lucky on a couple. So that looks much closer to a 6-5 over-under record. Take a look at the bottom at the Kings. They are 7-2 over-under, but their games have gone over by an average of 11.83 points per game. I talk about this all the time. ATS and over-under records are great, but make sure you're looking at the margin of covers because it really adds to how strong that angle is.
So that makes a ton of sense to me, Ralph. That said, I mean, the Kings' defensive numbers have been so bad. Sacramento's not just dead last in the NBA defensively. They're dead last, like head and shoulders worse than the number 29th ranked team. So that's why it's been as bad as it is. That said, the markets appear to have been catching up the last couple games. Maybe not as much as they should have, whereas the Nets just got noticeably weaker defensively, trading Jared Allen, and noticeably better offensively, getting a guy like James Harden in. So I'm not convinced that moving forward, you're going to find more value with Kings overs than you will with Nets overs. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. And you guys, I did post this chart. It is on Twitter, at CalSportsLV. And again, for those type of, exactly what Teddy talked about. Current form is important. So, the NBA stat sheet has the last 2 weeks. Is that what you look at, current form, Teddy? Or do you have some period in there with current form? Or are you just taking it a game-by-game basis, looking at how that team has played over their last few games?
So I don't have a specific amount of games that I use. Sometimes I'll look back 4 or 5 games. Sometimes I'll only look back 2 or 3 for current form. So there's not a specific. I'm always looking back 2 weeks. No, that's not the way I do it. I'll do it when whatever caused the team to morph began. That's when the current form begins, at least for me, for that particular team.
Excellent information, Teddy. I completely agree. There is no set parameter that you need to use. You need to be able to adjust as a team does adjust. And I don't know, Joe, if you can get these on, these Slack messages that I got. You guys might think it's easy picking the Friends of Ralph play of the day, picking the Gold Sheet play of the day on the WagerTalk College Basketball Tip-Off Show. But, we were on a 5-0 run. I pull a playoff WagerTalk's back end from Brandon, and we give away his 5% play. First off, thank you. The response was absolutely amazing. The number of you that went and took advantage of Tokyo Brandon's free play, it was a 5% winner, so a shout out to all of you that did that. But if Joe can show it, Number one, I get called out because Prez is making fun of me for calling out names. I get a Slack message from Tokyo Brandon. Qingdoa is pronounced King Do. Ha ha. So, number one, thank you very much. You could have told me that before I used it on the show. And then Brandon calls me out. Ralph, unfortunately, used my only loss in the 7 best bets. So, again, you guys think it's easy being the friends of Ralph guy to pick these plays. It's not. The people I give them to are pissed off. The cappers are pissed off that I picked the wrong play. So there's a lot of pressure. So I went to Carm. Carm's NHL analysis was awesome today. Carm in soccer on a 21-11 run since January the 6th. He's on a 98, 50, and 10 run, 61% plus 92 units since late November. His actual client play and a 4% best bet. Game number 202-421, Wolfsburg, minus a half goal, minus 115. And I know I pronounced Wolfsburg correctly. So, Carm, thank you for the Friends of Ralph play of the day.
Ralph Michaels, everybody. What a show. Awesome stuff. So much fun. Best hour of my day. Rest of the day is going to be super exciting. COVID. I'll be indoors doing nothing. Same thing as yesterday. We'll work out twice, though. Worked out 3 times yesterday out of sheer boredom. Teddy Covers, love doing this with you, man. You mean the world to me. Ralph Michaels, big thanks. Carmine Bianco, one of my best friends in the whole world. And Steve Merril, he's as good as it gets in breaking games down. $2 Tuesdays, everybody. Check it out. Me at WagerTalk.com. Kabang at Sports Memo. Teddy, take us home.
Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back again right here on Wager Talk Today in 23 hours and 13 minutes. Cheers.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.